Hi, thank you for coming back. We got a special request for black beans. That's what we're going to be making today. We're going to plate it with some plátanos maduro, which we're going to fry, and we're going to top it off with a slice of avocado. This is actually a very special meal to me. My grandaunt always used to prepare this for us as I was a child, and for my brother and myself. It's a great meal, very healthy. We're going to start with, you can either use canned beans. If you do, you can use like a Goya or a Kirby. Those are great. I like to use fresh beans. Bag them, you soak them and clean them overnight. Okay? Drain them, fill the pot up with water, and then you're going to put them at high until they start boiling. And then once they start boiling, you're going to bring them down to about a 4 or a 5, depending on your stove. You want them to continue to boil, but not overcook, not overburn. And those are going to boil, I would say, anywhere for about an hour, hour and a half before we start putting ingredients into it. Okay, so right now the only thing that is in these beans is olive oil and a little bit of salt, water, and they've been boiling for a little over an hour. Okay? On the opposite side, I've gotten 2 smoked hams, which I'm going to pan fry just until they can get a little bit golden brown on the top of both sides, because I'm going to put that in to the beans as they're boiling for the rest of the time that they're sitting there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stove at about 5 to 6. I'm going to wait for the olive oil, which I've already put in, to heat up, and then I'm going to pan fry these 2 pork chops. Alright, the oil's ready, so we're putting the smoked pork chops in. And now we're just going to let them cook on each side so they can brown. And that should be just a couple of minutes. Let me get my forks. They'll cook on each side. We're just going to wait until they're a little bit golden brown. Should take about 5 or 6 minutes. As you can see, we're starting to get that golden brown on the sides. I'm going to flip it over again. So the flavors can come out. And we're going to let it sit for probably about another 3 minutes or so. This is what we want them to look like. You see how they're golden brown on each side? They got really nice color. I'm trying to bring out the ham flavor in them. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to put it aside, turn it off, and I'm going to put that just directly into the beans. Whoops. We can cut that out right. Okay, perfect. Last one. Just throw that in there until it's covered by the beans. We're going to keep this grease. It's got a little bit of the ham flavor, and we're going to use this to saute our green peppers, our shallots, our fresh garlic, and basil. Okay? We're going to put that together. It's what we call a sofrito. To that, we're going to add a little bit of a tomato base that also has, it's from Goya. It's sofrito. It's a tomatoes-based cooking. It's got cilantro and olive oil, and it's really fantastic if you're making soups and stews. So we're going to put that together with this after I have sauteed the vegetables. Right now I'm going to chop up the green peppers. I've already got some of them started. You know, make them into small little pieces. We're going to cook these until they're up. I just want them to be small enough that when I put them in the frying pan, they'll dissolve. Right? Those are your green peppers. We've got some shallots now. Also, same thing. Cut them up pretty small. Remember, these are going to be boiling in that pot for a few hours. So they'll probably just dissolve in there. Okay. We're going to put these into the frying pan to get them ready, to get them going. There we go. We're putting it in the same oil that we cooked the smoked chops in, so that they'll pick up the same taste. I've got those at about a 3 because I don't want it to burn. There we go. Now I'm going to chop cloves. Take the heads off. I put the garlic in so it can start cooking. I put it last because I wanted to have nice garlicky flavor but not overcook the garlic. That's a big key to this because sometimes when you overcook garlic it gets This time I'm going to add 2 big spoonfuls of the sofrito for Goya. Just going to add it to this as it's cooking. This basically has the same stuff that I put in, but it has a little bit more. It has some cilantro. It has tomato in it. And I just want 2 large teaspoons in there, or tablespoons. You can see I'm mixing this around. I wish you could smell it because it absolutely smells fantastic. And that was really the best part about going over my grandmother's house was the smell that you had when you were coming into the house. It was just a fantastic smell of whether she was making black beans or red beans or picadillo or ropa vieja, and it was just wonderful. So that's what I'm trying to create here. Now, this is the magic. Now, lots of people like to use bottled chicken broth. For me, the best chicken broth is the one that you actually bake a chicken and take it from your chicken. So that's what I've done. I've got about a little over a cup here. I'm going to add it to my sofrito. You can see it's got all the seasoning of the chicken. That's really the magic. So I'm going to stir this around. And then once it starts bubbling, I'm going to let it bubble for about a minute or so, and then I'm going to add it to the beans. I'm going to take some fresh basil and add it to our black beans. Chop it up. Take a little bit. Our sofrito and chicken broth are boiling. We're going to turn this off and we're going to add it to our beans. Okay? Now we've added everything into our beans. We're going to stir it just to make sure we don't want the beans to stick to the bottom. Very important, you don't want that. If your beans are starting to stick, you've got it way too high. Now that we've got everything in here and it's all put together, we're going to cover it. We're going to lower it to about 2.5 to 3, depending on the strength of your stove. We'll cover, periodically come and stir it. Welcome back. We are making plátanos maduros. And the translation of that is sweet bananas. And you're going to take a plantain banana that is ripe. And the darker that it looks on the outside, the riper it is inside. It almost has to look like it's rotten. So black. I'm going to illustrate that when I do a full video on plátanos and tostones. Okay, but right now I sliced it up. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to place it in a little bit of oil. I'm going to fill the pan about halfway. And these will cook fairly quickly. And you want them to be nice and golden brown. So they have a real sweet consistency, nice and soft. It'll take, I would say, anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes or so. You're going to constantly be turning them. You don't want to leave these alone. We'll put one more in, and then we'll watch them. Welcome back. We are making plátanos maduros, and the translation of that is sweet bananas. And you're going to take a plantain banana that is ripe, and the darker that it looks on the outside, the riper it is inside. It almost has to look like it's rotten. So black. I'm going to illustrate that when I do a full video on plátanos and tostones. Okay, but right now I sliced it up. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to place it in a little bit of oil. I'm going to fill the pan about halfway. And these will cook fairly quickly. And you want them to be nice and golden brown. So they have a real sweet consistency, nice and soft. It'll take, I would say, anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes or so. You're going to constantly be turning them. You don't want to leave these alone. We'll put one more in, and then we'll watch them. Okay, as you can see, they're getting golden brown, and that's really what we want. We want to keep on moving them and turning them over. Even though they're submersed in the oil, the heat is obviously coming from the bottom to the top, and we don't want, you know, one side to be darker than the other. So we're going to keep on moving these over and turning them around. While that's cooking, I'm going to show you how to plate Cuban style. We'll take a small cup, you lightly wet it inside so that the rice does not stick to the cup. This is the smallest cup I have, so we're going to try it this way. And hopefully this will work. So we're going to fill up the cup, pushing down on the rice. Okay. Okay, we're going to put the plate over, down, tap it. Look at our plátanos maduros. They're getting a nice color. Keep on turning them over. Okay, we still want them just a little bit darker. But I'm going to serve the beans. There's many ways you can do this. You can use a soup bowl, lightly cover the bottom of the soup bowl with the rice, and then cover it with the beans. These are good to go. We're going to pull these out, put them on the napkin, let the oil get absorbed. Okay, I've added the beans at this point. I have the 3 plátanos maduro. I'm going to top it off with a little bit of avocado. Okay, I've added the beans at this point. I have the 3 plátanos maduro. I'm going to top it off with a little bit of avocado. Okay. Salt. I've just put a little bit of salt, a little bit of cracked pepper on the avocado, drizzle that with a little bit of olive oil, and this is how you make black beans and white rice. Platanito maduro with aguacate. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for requesting the black bean recipe. Any other requests you have, just go ahead and send it to me, and have a wonderful night.